disregard again the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military industrial complex.
In my line of work, you gotta keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in. You gotta catapult the propaganda. You gotta catapult the propaganda. Propaganda, 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 propaganda.
What's up? Another episode of the Ripple Effect podcast. Today we got Miss May I's vocalist Levi. They're from a metal band from Ohio. I've been listening to them for quite a bit. I got into them soon after 2009. I got to see them live, and I was amazed by how young they were. They were not old enough to drink at the time. I know that because they told me, and I was really impressed with just how good musicians they were. Their combination of heaviness with catchiness, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys might do something special. And so far so good. They have 4 great albums that I can honestly say I own and recommend to anybody. And their last album, Rise to the Line, was another amazing album, but really at heart, monument. They're all good, and so definitely check them out. I'll be playing them in the background of this intro because YouTube will kick me off if they actually pick up on the fact that I'm playing copywritten music. So I'll just play them in the background, but definitely check them out. They're available everywhere you can find music, and they're always on tour, so you might be able to find them somewhere near you. And so definitely check that out. I also finished the show with the questions I've been doing for I think 3 or 4 episodes now. I've been doing the 4 or 5 questions. I started off as 4, then I added another one, and just seeing if you guys like it. You know, give me some feedback. Let me know if you think it's a good idea or a bad idea. If I should just keep the casual conversation. But I figured at the end of the show, it'd be cool to throw the questions in because we might get some recommendations for a good book, good album, good documentary, and you know, just some interesting stuff. And that's always the purpose of the show, is trying to spread some interesting work, some interesting people, and some interesting ideas, and hopefully, you know, start our own little ripple. So also remember to share the show, retweet it. You know, if you like the show, then rate it and all that stuff. Every little bit of that helps, so do that. And got a bunch of episodes on their way. So enjoy this show, and keep a lookout. Subscribe to us on iTunes and all the places you can get podcasts, and our YouTube channel. And that way you can keep up with all our new episodes, because we got some more coming very soon. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Thanks. Yeah, I figured. I wear it on other shows, so I figured what better show to wear than today when I got the singer of the band.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. What's up, man? Thanks. Yeah, I know. You know, being on tour and stuff, it's hard to find any free time and to have a actual schedule because things are so spontaneous. But yeah, thanks for making the time to be on the show. I appreciate it.
Oh, anytime, man. Thanks for having me, man. It's like I said, I would have totally done it earlier if it's like Arctic up here and we were trying to find parking and it's crazy.
Well, yeah, that's why when when they told me you could do it today, I was checking your schedule. I'm like, dude, aren't they on tour right now? And I'm like, wait, isn't he going to be in Canada? I'm like, so that's why when we initially supposed to do it at noon and I was waiting, I'm like, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if something happened because you never know. Like the bus could break down. You couldn't find parking. I know that it's snowing over here in the East Coast. I'm from Massachusetts, so I'm like, if it's cold and snowing over here, I'm like, it has to be cold and snowing in Canada.
Did you guys get smashed?
It wasn't as bad as everybody made it out to be. Like, you know, the news just, I think, just loves finding shit to talk about. So it just you know, they just like, oh, the blizzard, you know, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. And it's just like, they just find, I mean, first it was like the Patriots Deflategate thing and then it's like the blizzard thing. And I'm like, dude, does CNN like talk about any actual news anymore? It's you know, they'll just, you know, kind of repeat the same story over, but it's all about ratings. So that's all they care about, you know?
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah. Scare the public. So. But yeah, I met you guys a while ago. I remember when I first met you guys, it was at a show. I believe you're playing with Whitechapel, and it was cool talking to you guys. I was wearing an As I Lay Dying shirt, and you're like, "Oh, cool shirt." They're like, "We like those guys so much, it's almost gay," you know. And and it's funny because, you know, listening to you guys and being a fan of you guys, like that's one thing you definitely hear the influence of As I Lay Dying, and even like, you know, just Maiden and some like the real like old like school metal bands that, you know, love musicianship and riffs and all that stuff. And that's one thing I love about you guys is that it seems like you continue to try to keep that to a important thing in your music. Like, even though you try to do melodies and you have like heavy parts, catchiness, it's like you have a little bit of everything. And is that a conscious decision, or is that just something that you always try to evolve and you just go wherever the music takes you and it just happened to come out that way?
I think it's sort of a conscious decision because the times change all the time. Every time we're going to do a new record, there's always like a new fad. It's either like mathy metal or like super heavy jam, which they're all awesome. And even like, I guess if we could incorporate what's going, like the modernness in every record we do, we try to, but not our whole original, I guess, point of doing the band before like everything happened for us was we just wanted to be that old school thrashy band because that's what we grew up listening to, and they sort of started fizzling out, and we're like, well, that's what we like to do, and we think we're good at it, so like we're gonna try to keep the torch going. And it's crazy because the more tours we do, the more we're like the last one standing. And I'm like nobody plays riffs. I'm like, where's all the riffs at? Like, obviously we're August Turns Red, and they bleed riffs, like they're insane, but most of the time we're just like, well, what's going on?
Yeah, well, you're right. It definitely seems like, you know, and I guess the good thing about trends is that it does make metal popular again. I know when the Christian metal thing was going on, bands like, you know, Devil Wears Prada and Under Oath and all these really good bands end up getting a little bit more popularity. But yet, unfortunately, there's a lot of bands that just jump on that bandwagon and they try to, you know, just sound like everybody else. And there was just... It almost becomes, and that's the thing, the one thing I love about metal fans is that they seem like the most loyal of fans, because if you're a good band and they'll stick with you, and it's not just a trend, it's not just, you know, it seems like, you know, kids still wear Iron Maiden shirts, kids still, you know, wear Metallica shirts, and it's just like, I love that loyalty that has to do with the music. But I like with all genres, I think that, you know, you might get lost in the mix when there's a lot of shit at once, but eventually the good artists will be the ones who stick around. You know, you guys are still around. Devil Wears Prada is still around, and it's just, you know, there's obviously As I Lay Dying would have been around if they didn't get in some trouble. But, you know, Killswitch Engage, you know, bands like that. Every album you guys come out with, people will stay loyal and keep liking your stuff. And I'm sure being you know, on social media and stuff like that, obviously you can't make everybody happy, and that's something you deal with, I'm sure. And so how was the reception for the last album? I love the last album, and I think every album just consistently keeps getting better and different at the same time. And it's I had Mike Martin's the guitarist for All That Remains on my show, and he's actually from my hometown, and we were talking about that, how it sucks because like every single song they release, every single album they release, there's just always people just either telling them they sound too much the same, or there's too much melodies, or that's a radio friendly thing, and it's just like, you just kind of have to ignore all that and do what you love and just hope that people like it. Is that something you learn in time? Because I know being, you guys got signed. I mean, you were in high school, right? When your first album came out, which is fucking crazy. I know when I met you guys, some of you guys weren't even old enough to drink, which was pretty wild. And hopefully that didn't stop you from drinking. But so how is that dealing with like social media and stuff like that? Is that something you guys have done a good job of like not letting it get to you? And I know it's hard because we're only fucking human. So people who say that it doesn't get to them, or they don't, because even with the show, I get a lot of positive feedback. I get very lucky that I get very little, if any, negative feedback. But I know even when you do, it's like we're only human, and it's like it's gonna affect you in some way. But in a way, it's almost a good thing, because it's like I always feel like no matter how shitty the comment is or the person is, I can maybe take something from it. Like there might be a little hint of truth in it, so it can make me self-reflect a little bit, you know?
Yeah. I know. It's funny. Our actually our manager always tells us, like, for every 1,000 positive comments, that one negative comment will ruin your day. And it's like, and I know we're supposed to be better at it. And me and Ryan, I think, are the worst because everyone else really doesn't care, but we're the only ones that really care about social network and stuff. So it always still gets to me. And for our last record too, it was so different from our other records that like, there was a lot of kids that it wasn't even negative, just like, what are you guys doing? Like, this doesn't sound like your first record. And it was like, we're just trying to change it up. Like, we're not going anywhere. We still have those songs. It's just, we don't want to write the same record twice, for us at least. And yeah, it was a hit or miss, because then there's you have half the fans that aren't happy, and then you gain half of a whole new fan base that would never have listened to your band if it wasn't for that record. So it's definitely, it pulls you in half because you're leaning one way and you're leaning the other way. So it is really hard. And yeah, the stuff always gets to me. I have a really bad habit of, right when we get off stage, I check Twitter and check all the Miss May I tweets. And for instance, we haven't got that many bad ones on this tour. We did get one in Boston. It was some girl that said, she's like, I can't stand the singer Miss May I. And like, right when I got to the green room, I'm like, our show sucked. I'm like, man, I did so bad. And everyone's like, no, it sounded the best. I was like, no, man, we sucked. The crowd hated us. And it was because I one tweet would ruin my whole day.
Yeah,
but I think it's hard. Yeah, like you said, we're only humans, so you're trying to please it. You can't please everybody.
Yeah, and as much as I hear people say, "Oh, I don't give a fuck what people say," or "Who cares?" That like, "Oh, I don't pay any attention to it." Even athletes, musicians, people do podcasts. It's one of those things. I don't believe it. I feel like I said, we're only human. Like, even if you might do a good job of ignoring it, and if you ignore it, then it obviously won't bother you if you don't know what's going on. But I feel like if you do get just stuck into reading it or whatever, then it's so true. Like, you can read a bunch of 1,000 great comments, and then that one shithead is going to be the one that, you remember and sticks with you. And it's kind of it kind of sucks, but it's one of those things as musicians, like, you obviously have to grow. And I mean, how old are you now?
23.
So like, when you started the band, you guys started in 06, right? I believe
07 is when we started playing together. Yeah.
So 07 till now, like, you guys have grown up a lot as musicians and as people. So I'm sure that has affected your music taste and the way you write and everything too, right?
Yeah. It's every time we go into writing, it's amazing how much each person's grown. Even how we communicate with each other. It's not like, I think at the beginning we were more like a yes man band. We'd just be like, yeah, put it down, put it on. And now we're sort of more stern and like, no, I think we could do better. Like, we push ourselves harder and harder. Even on this tour, I think this is the first tour we're really critiquing ourselves a lot. Like, just because Alex and Fred's such a talented band, every time, if we mess up a little bit, we'll talk about it in the green room. Like, we cannot let that happen again. Like, so this is the first time we've ever been like that. Because usually we'll mess up and we're like, it's whatever, blah, blah, blah. But now we're like, we have to be the best we can on this tour.
Yeah, that's a good thing, man. Just like really loving your art. And because let's be honest, there's a lot of bands that the more popular they get, the less they give a fuck, and they're just like, oh, whatever, And so the fact that you guys really care about, giving your best performance every night, and and it's hard because you put your heart and soul in this music, and then you represent it to the world, on stage, and you want to make sure you don't fuck up. And I'm sure when you do, you're hard on yourself because of it, even if probably a lot of people won't pick up on it. I'm sure. Yeah. It's those little things that oh fuck, I fucked up this, or I could have done this better, or whatnot. And any song that like is really hard to sing on stage, any song that like, I know you have a couple that you don't really have many breaks that it can be really pushing for your voice and shit. Does that harm your voice in the long run, or do you avoid playing those songs or much on tour?
Our new single, Here With No Name, that song murders me live, and it's right in the middle. But the cool thing is there's like there's a huge break before it, and there's a huge break afterwards. And I'm pretty sure I chug a water bottle before or after, because like, it's not even that I'm like, I can't even move around that much on that song because it's just there's no like stopping. I'm just like, but other than that, Ryan usually relieves me here and there. But I have a really bad tendency of, if it's a really awesome crowd, I'll go super insane, and then by the fifth song of me like going really hard, get winded, and I'm like, I have to pace myself. I went way too hard on all these songs.
Dude, that's what people don't realize is how much of a workout like performing is. Like people think like, oh, you guys get to rest all day, just chill, and then you perform for an hour and that's it. But it fucking wears you down. It's like a whole body. It's like P90X, you know, but on stage. You know, it's a whole body workout because you're constantly tense. You're moving around. You're you know, even just using your vocal cords. That's wearing down your whole body. You know.
Well, that's what I always tell the guys who used to give me crap for being the vocalist. I don't do nothing. I was like, and then we started in T25. I'm like, yeah, imagine doing this, but yelling the entire time. I'm like, it's not fun. I'm like, it's not a good time.
Well, the other thing about doing vocals too is that if you play other instruments in the band, like if you feel like shit, like you can still play. You know, it doesn't affect you that much. But if you feel like shit, or if your voice feels like shit,
everyone knows.
Everybody knows. Yeah. So it's one of those things where there's a little bit more pressure. How do you like? Do you have any secrets on like trying to stay healthy? Do you take like vitamin C or Cat's Claw, any multivitamin, or any secrets of trying to not get sick or keep your voice healthy?
Recently I've been working out a lot, and I take a lot of supplement stuff, but it's not like crazy. Like it's all like vitamin stuff. So I feel that helps, but I'm a huge tea junkie. I drink so much tea, at least before we play. Yesterday was a nightmare because I don't know what was up with the venue, but that venue we were at, it cost $2 to make a cup of hot water each time they use this machine. And I was like, bull crap, I'm not spending $2 for a cup of tea. I was like, this is crap. So yesterday sucked, but no, yeah, use tea and I feel like working out, I'm sweating out because I work out before we play. So I usually try to sweat out all the crap that's in me anyway. So
yeah,
and on top of playing, that's just like a torrential downpour of sweat. So
yeah,
but yeah, vitamins and trying to think. Yeah, all the supplement stuff I take. Some of it's just weird. Somebody told me it's good for me, so I'm like, I gotta take it. I don't even know what it does, but I know it's good for me.
And, what is it? I might know what it is because I'm
just
big
like
nutrition.
Like the alpha amino stuff, and I do like the mass gainer stuff. I know it's like for mass, but it's got a lot of like vitamins and stuff in it. So
yeah. Even though it's protein shakes and all that stuff, they have tons of vitamins and tons of stuff.
I'm on P6 right now, so I'm on testosterone boost for the next 8 weeks. I'm trying to, but it's the natural one. It's not there's the P6 Black, which is the chemical one, but that one scares the shit out of me.
Well, they banned a lot of them already. They banned a bunch of them recently because my buddy owns a supplement store, and I'm big into supplements and stuff. And I've had people on the show about natural remedies and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean they've banned a lot of stuff. It's crazy how like you said, teas and like so many vitamins, like it should be the first resort anytime you have an issue, because instead of putting a synthetic chemical in your body and I'm like you have all these vitamins that a lot of cat's claw, vitamin D, a lot of people have vitamin D deficiency because the weather and the lack of sun and all these things. Like there's a lot of milk thistle for your liver. Like I don't know how much you guys drink on tour, but milk thistle is a great herb for your liver. For
I've heard about Jake from ABR takes that. I need
really?
Jump on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
he's been my buddy on this tour, working out and stuff.
Nice, and it's good, I'm sure, to keep your energy levels up. Because that's the other thing. When you're on tour, it's hard to stay healthy because I'm sure you're not eating great, right?
Yeah.
And so
not the best all the time.
Yeah. So to be able to go to the gym and get your heart rate up and stuff like that, I'm sure you feel better. It sounds like a silly thing, like the fact that if I work out, I have more energy, but that's really the case.
Oh, dude, it is. I actually, because we used to buy a bunch of gear, and like it's cool having a bunch of weights and stuff, but it's just a pain in the ass, especially on tour, because it's like you got to put it all together, roll it out. The last time I was home, I just got into because I since I'm home for a little bit of time, I sort of use like the band thing to go and try out new gyms, and I'll talk to guys and everything, and I got really into kettlebells. And that's my new thing on this tour. I've joined this kettlebell gym at home, and I'm like obsessed. But they let me take a kettlebell on tour, and I'm just like, I'm in heaven now because I can do everything on it. My trainer sends me stuff to do, and he just destroys me, and it's amazing. I have the rest of the guys actually. I'm corrupting them slowly. I'm like, look, you don't need a dumbbell, you don't need this bar. I'm like, you can do it all with this, and then I'm showing them, and it just kicks your ass. I'm actually leveling up when we play Ohio. my trainers bring me a heavier one, I'm just like, oh shit, I'm gonna get murdered.
Well, that's the thing about kettlebells is that you look at like a 35-pound kettlebell and you're like, oh, that's not heavy, and then you're like, holy shit, like this thing beats me up. And the thing is too, it's like a whole body workout because it's not just it's not just like, okay, I'm isolating biceps or I'm isolating chest. You're working your whole body, and that's why I think it's getting a lot of traction and a lot of popularity, because I think that people are realizing that real functional strength is more important, because a lot of the movements you do during kettlebell workouts are things similar to like everyday, movements.
Yeah.
And that's what people like about it, because
you feel like a warrior. You're not like,
yeah.
Like when you go, like, I used to go to Planet Fitness, and I'd get like a sweet pump, and I'd like look scary for a little bit, but then I don't go for like 4 days, and it's all gone.
Yeah.
And like kettlebell, I'm like, man, after I'm done, I'm like, I'm ready to like fight somebody. I'm like, you're ready to go. And
your kettlebells, and the thing is too about the large grip, the thick grip, it like strengthens your hands, and you feel like it just,
your forearms are just shredded.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty badass. It's cool that it's getting popular again, because the weightlifting thing in the 90s kind of ruined like lifting weights, because everybody wanted to be as big as possible, so you look like a freak of nature, but you're not athletic at all.
Yeah.
You can't.
The funny story about that, when we were on Warped Tour 2011, that's like when I first started, like, oh, I'm not gonna, because I used to be super skinny, and my wife did not care that I was like a little guy. She's like, whatever. So I was like, I have nothing to, because if I didn't work out, I wouldn't get fat. I would just be like a stick. So I was, so I got into it in 2011, blah, 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 and I was with the Wins and Play guys, and those guys are obviously monsters, but we'd work out and then we'd run, and they couldn't run like a half mile. And I'm like, dude, you have like an 8-pack and you're like shredded. And they're like, oh, you can't run. They just lift all day. And I'm like, there's so much more to working out than just lifting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's just one aspect of it. Like, people think that, like, because you're huge, and that's the thing, like, I play basketball and I lifted weights, and I've gotten a lot further away from, like, lifting weights just to get big. Now it's just you're trying to look, and that's the look too now. Like, a lot of people rather look like an athlete and be lean than get huge, because it's like, you take all these supplements, you get huge, you bench press 415 or whatever, but then you go to the, to the beach, and the skinny dude with a 6-pack is who the girls are looking at. So it's like, wait, what are you spending all this time at the gym for? All you got to do is be lean, and it's a lot less work, so. Yeah. That's another thing. Being married, how is that? Being married and being on the road, being away from the wife and stuff. Is she go on the road with you guys, or is she? How's she handle being?
She comes out when she can. I know she's. We have some other tours coming up this year that she's coming out on. She's not coming on this one, but we play a couple Ohio shows. She's going to come out too. Yeah, we have a tour this summer. She's coming out for a couple weeks. She came to Europe with us. Like, she comes out a lot. It just depends when she can and everything. But I was with her before the band, so she was like knowing what she was getting herself into. So
yeah, that's cool.
I have it a little easier than most guys, like especially in the band. But yeah, she's awesome. She the last time we were home was the longest we've been home in 5 years. So me leaving was like traumatic, because we were home for 2 months, and I was like, because usually I'm home, I say hi to family and I leave, but we were home for so long I could do like normal home stuff. I was like, I walked my dog at the same time of day. I like did all this like stuff I've wanted to do, and I was like, man, this is awesome. But then I had to leave, so she just wasn't used to it, because I was home for so long. I was like, oh, I'll take care of this around the house, I'll do that, like, because usually when I'm home for a week or something, it's like party time for a week. We go see family, we go out to eat with everybody, and then I'm gone again. But 2 months was a long time for me.
Yeah, and you get in that routine of being home and routine of her seeing you. Yeah, that's hard, man.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, she's the bomb. She loves it too. She's a metalhead. So, well, she wasn't a metalhead. I've corrupted her, but now she loves In Flames, and she loves like Lamb of God. She loves all the bands I love. So now
holy shit, she even likes the really heavy metal stuff, like Lamb of God, really.
Yeah, well, she actually, I met her. She was a drummer in a band, so she like appreciates the musicianship. Yeah. So like In Flames, we're like when we both listen to In Flames, it's like our favorite, and we just lose our minds.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's definitely, that's one thing about on the road is like everybody assumes that it's just like, it's just this awesome fantasy of just being on the road and being away from everybody. But yeah, if you got a wife and you got a family or kids or whatever, like it's not easy. And I'm sure like, I'm sure the bus that you guys take now is a lot nicer than, a van and stuff like that. But it still sucks, I'm sure, right? I mean, there's some aspects that still suck, right?
Yeah. It's, yeah, you just miss out on, like, for instance, this tour, I missed out on my birthday, her birthday, and our anniversary, and it's just like, and it's all in one tour, and I'm just like, oh, and how everything's scheduled, we pretty much don't go home for like 6 months. So it's like you gotta be like, you either really want the dream to happen or you give up and you want the home life. Because we've toured with people too that they've been even like skyrocketing, their band's blown up, but they just couldn't handle it and they just went home, which is good for them, like if that's what they want to do. But it's like you have to know the sacrifice you're gonna make. You're like, if I really want this to work, then you gotta put it all out there.
yeah. It's like either career or love. It's hard to have both.
It's hard. Yeah. You can't win. You can't win everything.
Yeah, but it's good that you found somebody that is not having a hard time dealing with it and making it work, and hopefully in the future, there's that's the thing. Like right now, it kind of sucks because being on tour is one of the few ways to make like real financial. Any financial gain, right? Because what's
your guys' records anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I still enjoy buying CDs because I like the album, the artwork. I mean, obviously, you guys got lions on everything, which is badass, and so it's one of those things where I still like reading the lyrics. I like seeing the artwork because it's about the whole feel of the album. Like when you open up an album cover, like you get a feel for what the artist was thinking and feeling, and the image that they want to put out. And I feel like you miss out on that when you just buy a single MP3. And there's not. Well, I mean, some of it, I guess. The music industry too. There are some artists that nobody wants to buy the whole album of their shit anyways. Yeah. But there's awesome bands like you guys who every album is worth getting, and from beginning to end you got a full album, and yeah. I mean, do you still buy albums? Is that something you guys still do? Or?
I buy my favorite band's albums, like because I just know how much work goes into it, and like how much they put into the artwork, and how much like emails and just crap that went into it. Especially the bigger bands I'm into. I can't even imagine on their scale. Like, but I buy like, my favorite albums I'll buy. Other than that, I've got corrupted by the Spotify. It's so bad. But I Spotify usually to find out if I want to buy the record, and then I usually buy it.
Yeah, well, the other thing too are our attention spans like shrinking every year, because it's like we're constantly like distracted, and we're constantly, I'm a big documentary guy, and like, I have a lot of filmmakers on and authors and stuff like that, and dude, I struggle to even get through a documentary now because I'm like constantly looking at my phone and I'm not paying attention to the movie, and I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with me? It's like we all have ADD now, and it's
it's horrible.
Yeah. At your shows, do you is that one thing that I know that like the Corey from Slipknot had an issue with like somebody trying to film the show during one of their gigs? Is that something that catches your eye? That's like, hey guys, stop looking at your fucking phone. Like, hey, enjoy the moment. Yeah.
I think the way we sort of I guess counter-react it is our sets now aren't just like playing the song that it's like. We made the whole thing like a theme, and everything's so fast-paced to where hopefully we don't lose anybody's attention. It's like every song's just pop, 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 like back into each other. So, and the main reason we do that is because if you put 15 seconds in between a song, someone's going to go get a beer and walk away. So it's like you have to keep them occupied because it's so fast. And yeah, the phone thing sort of upsets me sometimes, but I'm just like, I just let it go. I'm just happy to be playing the show right now. If I was Corey Taylor and I was a monster, then I would totally be like, yeah, that. But I'm just trying to get there first.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it is something about like it's funny how everybody would rather tweet or write on Facebook about enjoying the moment instead of actually enjoying the moment. It's like it's like you're writing about how awesome this moment is, but you're not actually in the moment because you're constantly on your phone,
looking through the phone at the moment.
Yeah. It is interesting. So you being when you go back home to Ohio, are you people recognize you? Is it a big deal? Is it like you guys get? I know you don't play there that often, but when you do, is it you get a?
It depends on the crowd. If it's like bar crowds for sure, and like younger crowds, it's it just depends on people I see. It's like Kroger's is main. If I go to Kroger's, it's mainly like older people, but if there's like the young person, it's always like that. The funny thing was 1 second, hold on, actually. Sorry. One thing was, we're on the back of the new Revolver, and I was, it was flipped over at one of the Kroger's, and we were sitting there getting Starbucks, and this lady was like looking at the thing, looking at the magazine, and looking at me, and I was just like gave her the head nod, and it was so funny because she was just so confused because it was like my big face on the back of this Revolver magazine. And I was looking at it because I didn't see it in person. And then like I looked at the lady and she didn't even say anything. I just like gave her the head nod and she was like, oh, and like walked away. But yeah, it just depends on the crowd. It's not like we're top 40 and moms and dads know us. But yeah, if you're a metalhead, it's pretty cool. Bars for sure, we get noticed a lot.
And yeah,
I get noticed a lot more than most of the guys because I got the big hair, and it just it's getting bigger. It's the biggest it's been. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lead singer thing. I mean, you definitely lead singers. That's like one of the things that like they don't tell you. It's weird. It's like when you're the lead singer, you're like, oh, it's kind of cool that I get all the, you know, I'm gonna get a lot of the attention and focus and people. It's kind of the face that people remember. But the bad thing is too, I'm sure there's gonna be times where you're out with, you know, family or a wife and you just want to be left alone, and I'm sure people will come up to you and, you know, has that ever happened?
Yeah, it's only happened once where I was like, I don't ever tell anybody if they're being rude or anything. I'm a pushover, but there was one time that I was out to eat with my mom, and we were actually in our hometown, which our hometown's really, really small. And I didn't live there. I was just I don't know why. We were stopping through there, and we were just going out to eat, and this kid literally pulls up a chair to our table with me and my mom, and was like, "Hey, how was the last tour you've been? You're in town." And I was just like, yeah, I'm in town. I was like, I'm eating with my mom right now. I'm like, what the heck? I let him sit there and we had a conversation and everything, and he left, and my mom thought it was cool, but I was just like, that was so awkward and rude. Why'd that guy just sit down?
Yeah, that's the thing about fame. It's like we all assume that's what we want until we have it, and then you're like, okay, there's definitely some perks to this, but there's definitely some annoying things to it too.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't imagine being like Justin Bieber or anytime you see those dudes and people are like, oh, they're messed up in the head or this kid's crazy. I'm like, dude, nobody should be that popular at that age. Like none of us can really understand what it's like to be that person.
Yeah, and you can't do anything. You can't go to the movies. Yeah. You can't walk on the street.
I mean, if I get annihilated and I get drunk at a bar and I come home, like nobody gives a shit. But if Bieber does it, it's going to be on every newspaper in the world, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, I just think what it does to your psyche, I don't think you can prepare a kid for that type of fame and attention and you know, we did fucked up things when we were all young. I mean, imagine if we had billions of dollars to do even more fucked up things.
Oh, I know. I couldn't. Yeah. If I had that budget, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely, you know, in a way, I'm like, okay, you know, some of these celebrities seem like shitheads, but I'm like, who am I to judge them? I'm like, you know, if I was them in their situation, in their place, who knows? I'd probably be them, you know. So yeah, it's hard to do that. So now. You guys, your last album came out in last year, 2014. I think I saw an interview with you guys. You guys were talking about something about how fan letters influenced the lyrics.
Yeah.
Do you mind explaining that for me?
Yeah. We wanted to sort of. I didn't want to write this like I guess a personal record again. Not that I didn't want to. I just didn't want to do the same record twice, like I was saying earlier. And I was trying to think of another way to write it, and I didn't really want to do a story record or a concept record about castles and dragons and all that. So I sort of drew aspect from, we have letters that we get over the years, and we read all these letters, and we don't really get a reply to everybody, but they tell us these amazing stories, and we sort of wanted to write from their point of view, so it could be a sort of a record where most of our fans can just listen to and grab onto, because we wrote the most common letters. We wrote those back because obviously you have those one letters that are one of a kind and you can't really write about. But yeah, so we basically wrote from their point of view, and it was really interesting because I didn't have to sit there and vent. I had to like sit there and put myself in their position and then write, and it was fun. It was exciting.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool concept. That's a cool way of doing it, and just interact. I mean, it's a way of making your fans feel a part of the process and a part of the album, which is pretty badass. And that's the other thing. Venting can be emotionally draining too, you know. And you know, so that's the other thing about I used to play music, and I still do. And that's one thing about writing is people don't realize it is kind of hard to always tap into some emotion and try to put it out on paper and release that. I mean, it's. Well, another thing I wanted to ask you was, when you wrote other, you know, not so much the last album, but like Monument and At Heart and those albums, did you ever like write something so personal that you're like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't write this because people are going to hear it or people are going to, you know, do you ever put restrictions on your lyrics or the topics or anything like that? Or you try to get the most personal stuff possible?
I actually do that all the time.
Really?
And it's, I end up like deleting songs that I'll write because I'm like, I can't write. Well, because it's hard because if it's like about family or like super personal stuff, your family as like your number one fans when you're in a band. So they read all the lyrics, and then that's like the worst feeling is because there's been times I've had family members call me like, "Is this song about me?" And I'm like, "No, no, no," and I'm like, "Shit!" I'm like, I try to make it so vague, and it's like, I do that all the time, and I actually think this next record, because we've been doing it for a while, and we're adults now. I was like, I think this next one I'm gonna just. I was talking to the guys about it. I'm like, we're just going balls out. We're gonna go full on pissed off on this record, like no holding back. But yeah, I do find myself deleting stuff sometimes because I'm like, man, I really don't want like whatever family member to be reading. Like I write it and I'm like, man, I love this song, and I'm like, no, I don't want to like, because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
Yeah,
I don't want to, but sometimes you just got to write that song, you know?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, you know, it might be because some of the best songs and songs that have touched us the most has been songs that are sad or very personal. Yeah. And even though, like, it's funny because people would talk about, like, I remember when I was growing up and I was, you know, a metalhead in high school and middle school, and people would be like, oh, why do you listen to, you know, all, you know, devil, they used to call it devil music because they didn't know what else to call it. And, and they would, and I'm like, well, because, you know, and obviously when you're a kid, every issue seems like the end of the world. So yeah. And when you're depressed, and I grew up like dealing with depression and stuff like that. So it's like the one thing I loved about music was that I felt like other people were going through what I was going through, and that even though it was sad, it was giving it was doing something positive to me. So it was a negative song doing something positive to me, and people didn't understand that. And I think that it's awesome to have that mindset of, you know what, I'm gonna put no restrictions on this. I'm gonna go wherever the song. You almost have to write it like it's a diary, and like you know, like nobody's gonna listen to it or read it, and then just put it out there. And you know, and those are songs that really touch people's lives, and I'm sure even for yourself, like some of your songs that you have written and have released, I'm sure some of those personal songs, just playing them and getting them off your chest, I'm sure that's a relief.
Oh yeah, it is. That's why I'm sort of excited. I'm like, I've never been more excited to record a new record for a new record. So even though whenever it is going to be done or whenever it comes out, I'm so pumped.
Yeah, because
when we did like Hey Mister, it was that was like the deepest song I've ever written, and then that's our biggest impacted song. People cry at the merch tables and lose their minds when we play it live, and I'm just like, holy crap. And like, and that's like, I don't know, that's the one I feel most connected with the crowd, because it's just like, it's like, at least from my point of view, because everyone in the crowd, they're looking at us and they don't see anyone next to them or behind them, and like, from my point of view, just seeing all those people singing, I'm just like, whoa, Mike, it just takes your breath away. You're just like, wow, like these people, because they don't just sing it along like I kissed a girl, like they're not just singing it. It's like they mean it, and like from my point of view, I'm like, wow, like this is just crazy.
Yeah, well, because like you said, like the thing about metal shows is that people aren't just singing along and bobbing their head; they're almost screaming it and feeling it as much as you are, and that's what's crazy. Yeah. I mean, what a surreal, you know, just moment, you know, having all those people singing lyrics that one day start off, you know, just a idea in Levi's head, and you're just writing it down, and the next day it's, you know, you have the crowd of people, you know, singing along. It's fucking surreal.
It's crazy, dude. It is crazy.
yeah. And to create, that's why I love, you know, it's so important to be artistic and do use that part of our brains, you know, imagination. I feel like too many of us get caught up in everyday life, and then we just kind of go to our shitty job and do our shitty thing, and that's why I love meeting people who are doing things they love and you know, and chasing it and doing it and even sacrificing, like you said, you know, you can't be near your wife or at home as much as you like, but you understand that that's a sacrifice. And that's one thing, like I keep saying on this podcast, it's like whatever your passion is, whatever you enjoy doing, you know, chase it. You know, I got a full-time job. This is a very shitty, you know, investment, because, you know, I put money in it and I don't get anything back, but I get to talk to, you know, cool people all over the world. And I feel like I'm, you know, it's called the ripple effect, because I hope that I can kind of share good ideas and good music and good films and good, you know, books, and kind of, you know, hopefully spark thought. And so, I mean, I just think it's awesome to meet. I remember when I met you guys and just seeing how young you guys were, but you guys, you could tell you loved what you're doing. You're so passionate. And I remember I went to the show with my brother and just thinking like, yo, these guys are gonna do something special. I'm like, really? Because it was just like you understood. One, your musicianship is crazy. Like the way you guys write music, the fact that you can do this amazing mixture, that really the only other band that was really doing a job like that before you guys was As I Lay Dying, like this, where they could do like these super catchy songs, but yet they're still one of the heaviest bands you have on your on your iPod. And it's like, wait, how can it be both? One of the catchiest songs and the heaviest songs on my iPod. And you guys have done an amazing job doing that. And is that something that you guys constantly try to do? Like just trying to, or do you just, is the writing process one of those things where you just kind of go wherever the song takes you?
It's sort of, it depends. Our last record, we sort of not really overthought it, but we sort of looked at more theory and diversity and like really like dissected the songs. But I think at the end of the day, it's more of like wherever the song takes us. It's like, it's just, we call it like a riff bank. There'll just be, because that's how our songs start, is with a riff. So it's BJ and Justin will come to us with a riff, and we're like, because I know it sounds so dumb, but it's hard to say it because it's only like an emotional thing. It's like when you hear like a certain riff, it like sings to you, and you just feel it. So like there's been many riffs that they've showed people, and they're like, yeah, it's cool, but like they write that one, you're like, okay, I'm feeling this way, and you're just like, and then we sort of roll with it, and we just go from there. And then the heaviness sort of comes from Jared, our drummer. He the songs will be only so heavy with like guitar and vocals and all that, and then Jared will be the one who's like writing the heaviness of the songs. And then so we all bring our part into it. But if it wasn't for the guitars like singing along with the songs, I think they would just be just a normal breakdown song. I think our guitar players are one of the major parts of it.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the major parts in metal. But no, that doesn't sound corny at all, because I completely agree. I think one thing that As I Lay Dying, not to keep bringing them up, but one of the things that I loved about them was that if you took out all their singing, just like you guys, if you took out all your vocals, the music itself seemed passionate and emotional. And there's something about certain riffs and a feel of a song, and it's like, a lot of people who listen to top 40s or whatever, they kind of try to get a meaning or a feel of a song based on the vocals. But it's like with metal, like you said, there's certain riffs that just move you and feel, you feel something, and it's just one of those things you really can't explain, but you know it when you hear it.
Yeah, I feel stupid sometimes because we've been demoing a lot at home. When I'm going to do vocals onto a song and there's a sweet guitar riff, I'm always like, man, I don't want to taint this guitar riff and put my vocals on it. I'm like, I love this riff, but then it's like, that's the verse, and I'm just like sitting there like listen to it on loop, and I'm like, oh, I love this. I don't even. Sometimes it's hard for me to put vocals over it, but it's fun live because I sort of like air guitar all the time with the guys, and just if I could play guitar, I would love to play guitar. I just love watching them play, and that's like one of my favorite things. I
think that's such a musician thing where like whatever instrument you play, you envy somebody else who plays. Instrument.
Everyone's like that. All bands like, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. I think if I could pick my favorite instrument, probably I would love to play drums if I could pick anyone. And I would hate to have to deal with all that gear and all that crap, but I would love to play drums.
Yeah, drums are one of those things where like they never get enough credit, but yet like musicians like really respect them, and you love watching them. It's like I feel like drummers always feel like I don't get enough credit, but yet everybody kind of envies what they do, because it is one of those, like I remember going to see bands like Commie Christ and bands that, industrial bands, and one thing they would do to kind of like make the live show cooler they would have live drums. And it just like that alone, just live drums with keyboards, just like it changed everything. You could watch the drummer the whole show and just be blown away. And that's like one of those things where just like your eyes go to the drummer and you're just like watching them, because it just seems like a kid on toys just kind of going out, just visually there's a lot to look at. So yeah, metal is one of those things where just like you don't understand metal until you see it live, because the energy, and the other thing too is like a lot of people listen to music in shitty speakers now, which kind of sucks, because it's like, so you guys do all this work, engineering, mixing, getting this, heavy part to really sound heavy, and then people listen to it with a little speaker they plug into their phone, so it's, so it kind of sucks. That's why, it's so important to like really hear things in good speakers and hear, really get the feel, because metal, you just can't listen to it low and through a shitty speaker. So
yeah, I know I'm the worst one at that. I just got like a soundbar surround sound thing for Christmas, and all the demos the guys sent me, I'm like, yeah, these are cool, and I like played them through on my soundbar with like surround sound. I'm like, whoa, this song is way cooler than I thought it was. And now I'm like rewriting all my lyrics to all the songs, because I'm like, this is just awesome.
Yeah, that's badass. Yeah. So you guys are touring. You got like what, 3 or 4 shows in a row in Canada, right?
4, yeah.
4. And do you have any break between any of them, or?
No. We don't have a break for another 5 days.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
You guys stay away from the drinking while you're playing, or can you deal with a little bit of drinking? After
we do. We just got to be smart about it. Tonight, one of our favorite places ever is across the street. We didn't know until we got here. One of our favorite bars. Like, we haven't been here in like 2 years, and we showed up to the venue, and this bar we go to, Foofs, is across the street, and we're like, oh no, that's our favorite place. We gotta go. 'Cause the cool thing about that place is when we used to tour up here, we were 18 and 19. We were legal to drink up here. So we used to play this little hole-in-the-wall venue, which it's funny. The venue we're playing tonight is the venue we've always wanted to play. It's like a 2,000 like massive theater, and we used to play this hole-in-the-wall above this skate shop for like years. And so when we were 18, you'd like stumble over and show your ID, and they'd give you a drink, and we're like, "This is crazy." So
it is.
Yeah. Now we're gonna go over there, and it's gonna be our spot tonight. So we're really excited.
Dude, I remember the first time I went to Canada when I was 18, and it was the same thing. Like, you almost felt like you're doing something illegal. You're just ordering a drink, and you're like waiting for like the CIA to like tackle you. You're like, wait, this can't be right. I'm like 18, you know. They
hand it to you, and you're like, are you sure?
Exactly. You're like,
are you sure you want to give this to me?
It is funny, yeah. I remember we went there right after high school before a couple of our friends went to college and stuff like that, and it was such a surreal thing. We're like, dude, this is fucking wild, you know. But I feel like the more you tell kids not to do shit, the more they're gonna want to do it anyway. So,
oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's natural to like just want to rebel and stuff. So, but I end every show with some questions. I try to get some good recommendations from my guests and for for the listeners and stuff like that. So I'll jump right to it. Your favorite artist or album? Anybody that was really had a huge impact on you growing up, or
favorite artist would have to be probably Killswitch Engage. And I think their End of Heartache record is like the best metalcore record, or best metal record ever made.
Yeah. I'm right down, not too far from Westfield, from Adam's studio and shit like that. And yeah, I mean, those guys are, it's unbelievable. Adam's a genius when it comes down to music in general. And that album I think is going to go down in history as like one of the best metalcore albums.
It's unreal. That and The Oceans Between Us from As I Dying is like, come on, you can't touch those records.
Yeah, I actually think Oceans Between Us and Shadows and Security are like both right there. I mean, they're both so like they don't have a bad tune on that album. Yeah, it's but you're right. I mean, Killswitch put Massachusetts on the map for metalcore with that album, and it just they did a lot for the area and shit like that. Now, your favorite book or documentary? Because I always put documentary in there because it's 2015, and let's be honest, most people our age don't read it.
Yeah. My favorite book would probably be 3 Feet from Gold. I just read that. I actually don't read books a lot. I just started reading like the past couple years, and it's more like inspirational books, and that's one that I read, 3 Feet from Gold. That's part of my favorite book. It's cool because it's real too. It's about this guy just going to all these I guess huge successful people and trying to find a common denominator, and you just get to hear all these stories about like these massive like Fortune 500 companies, and just you've heard about all of them. Like you go and talk to the guy from Chick-fil-A and NASCAR and all this, and it's crazy that those guys went through years and years and years of struggle before they actually did anything, and because you never think of that from our point of view. So the whole book, that's like one of my favorite books. It's real inspiring.
Yeah, that's pretty badass. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things where those guys are all so hungry for success, But I definitely think it's one of those things where even those guys, it gets to a point where, when does it end? You see a guy like Warren Buffett, or you see a guy like, just all these millionaires, and it's just like they still like wake up every morning and try to make more money. And I'm like, dude, what are you searching for? Like, there's way more to like. If I had that amount of money, or you had that amount of money, we'd be sitting on the beach smoking cigars, bullshitting about life. I wouldn't be motivated to
trying for more. Yeah.
I mean, it is weird because the drive that got him there. It's a curse, too, because it also never goes away, and then they just keep looking for a happiness. Sometimes I feel like happiness in the wrong places. It's like we find happiness in music or art or whatever, and they find happiness in money, which isn't really something that's gonna permanently make you happy. And it's not real. It's not like family and friends and stuff like that. And the next question, your favorite comedian? You got a favorite comedian?
Oh, man, that's hard. Probably probably Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart?
Yeah, he's it used to be Cat Williams, but it's Kevin Hart now. Yeah.
Kevin, yeah, he's. You know what I love about Kevin Hart? He's funny all the time, even when he's not doing.
Yeah, he can't not be funny.
And then
we actually went and saw Cat Williams when he was our favorite, and he wasn't funny live. And we're like, nope, we're over it.
Dude, I honestly like nothing against Cat Williams, and I've had stand-up comedians on the show, and I just don't I don't get his sense of humor. I like, for some reason, I don't know if it's like that album or music that I just don't get, and that's why I don't like. But for some reason, Cat just, for some reason, his sense of humor, that kind of just over the top energy, it's just like,
yeah.
For some reason, it just doesn't do anything for me. I don't know. I like cleverness, and I like, I guess it's almost like the same thing you look in music, you kind of look in comedy. It's kind of similar fields where it's like, if you like, well thought out music, you probably like well thought out comedy, So
yeah.
What's your
just fart jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is funny sometimes, but it doesn't last. It's definitely one of those things where it just kind of it's not the jokes that stick with you and stuff like that. Well, what's your favorite podcast? You got a favorite podcast?
This is really lame. My favorite I love oh my gosh, why am I totally spacing right now? Dave Ramsey.
Really?
I love to listen to Dave Ramsey's. Yeah, because I love like the business aspects of stuff and everything, and he puts me in my place sort of when I listen to his podcast. I'm like, wow, I'm an idiot. I need to listen to this guy. And yeah, he's definitely me. That's me and my wife's favorite podcast. We listen to that a lot. Anything, it's definitely a left field podcast to pick.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, is that one of those things that, like, unfortunately, it just comes with the just the environment? Like, you have to be business smart too. I mean, obviously, you would love just to play music and just do the things you enjoy, but unfortunately, you have to obviously manage your brand, and you have to get the right people around you. Is that part of having a band? Do you enjoy that? Do you?
Yeah, that's my favorite part or one of my favorite parts of the band. That and like the marketing aspect of it, but the reason I'm really into that is obviously being in the band, like we said earlier, you don't make as much money as you used to make in the 80s and 90s. So I'm trying to just, any penny that we make, just spend it the right way. And that guy really knows how to do it. Because my whole thing is like I really, really love real estate and stuff. And I've really been saving up to try to get into that whole world. Because it's something I could do on tour. And I could be an old beer gut metalhead and do that while I'm home. And yeah, I've been listening to that guy a lot, and it's been cool. It's cool. He's real positive the whole time. So even if you're having a bad day, he usually has like a real positive message to be like, okay, spice it up a little bit.
Nice. Oh, and then the last question: what's your favorite drink? You got a favorite drink? Your go-to?
Oh, like drink, like alcoholic drink or drink?
Either one. If you have a drink.
Oh, man, my favorite drink is Taco Bell's Baja Blast, Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Really?
That's the best drink of all time. And alcoholic, my new favorite I know what it is. Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary.
By far. Yeah, gin and tonic if I'm hanging with the dudes, but Bloody Mary I would like to get too, but everyone makes fun of me, so that's my favorite drink though. Everyone, and it's awesome because no one else in the band likes it, so they won't steal a drink from me. Crazy story, real quick. I know we're on a podcast. But,
that's okay. Take your time.
When we were on Mayhem, I'm like a super fan of Avenged Sevenfold, and we didn't really get to meet those guys, and because they were in their own little world. One show I was watching them side stage, and I sort of got reined in at the amphitheater, and I had to wait to go to our bus. And Matt M. Shadows comes out and was like, "Hey man, you want a drink?" And he invited me to his green room, and we're just sitting there drinking, and he freaking busts out Bloody Marys. And it was like 11 p.m. I'm like, this is my favorite. Like, not only is he a singer in Avenged Sevenfold, but he's making me a Bloody Mary. I'm like, this guy's awesome. And we just talked about video games and drank Bloody Marys for like 4 hours.
You a big video game guy too?
Oh my gosh, I love video games. The sad thing is, the more we tour, the less I get into it because it's so hard to keep up with it. They're so fast because it's like a very time-consuming hobby.
Fuck yeah, it is.
And being on tour, it's like I used to be all about. I used to have the suit or road case with a TV and video game system. I used to have all that crap, and then I just slowly got rid of it because I'm like, man, I'm not productive enough. But when I do have time to get with video games, I do love them. I do appreciate all of them. I think it's all just an amazing concept, and just the future. I check out the E3 videos and the future of all this technology that's coming out, and I'm just so excited. I'm excited to be a dad, and when all this is like said and done, I can just sit at home and play my kids' video games because they're going to be way cooler than the ones I'm playing now.
Fuck yeah, dude. The future is insane because it's like technology, it's like Moore's Law. Technology is advancing so quickly that it's just like we can't even come close to predicting what the next 50 years is going to, what it's going to be like. You talk about Oculus Rift and like being able to put,
Come on. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's fucking insane. Like,
I just watched, have you seen the HoloLens thing?
No.
It's Windows. It's real too. It's not even a beta. It's like basically it looks like sunglasses, and it projects holograms around your surroundings, and you can control your computer with holograms you see through these sunglasses.
Oh shit!
And it's crazy. Like this lady's just sitting in her kitchen, and like her computer screen pops up on her refrigerator, and she's like typing and checking her emails on her refrigerator, and I'm just like, this is real. This is Star Trek.
Dude, that is nuts. I just did a show a couple shows ago with this guy Aaron Franz, who we did a whole show on transhumanism and basically man versus machine and the future of technology and how it's going to affect us and all that stuff. And he wrote a book called Revolve, and then also a documentary called The Age of Transitions. And maybe I'll send it to you if I can get I'll get your info and I'll send it to
you. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's super interesting because it's all about like just the future of technology, and it's weird because we don't know how it's going to impact us. You look at privacy. Is our privacy going to disappear? Like you look at little by little, we're just kind of sacrificing privacy every time we hit agree on terms and services.
Yeah.
It's like, and is it going to get to a point where we just accept the fact that, hey, we don't have any more privacy, and how is that going to affect us? So it is weird. I mean, and I wonder how much of it's going to affect like people's social skills, because I know people, and I'm sure you do too, who are way more comfortable text messaging than they are talking face to face. And it just, it's going to get to a point where somebody's going to go to a job interview and they're going to panic, have an anxiety attack because they're so much more comfortable writing things than they are actually talking to people. So
the younger generation too get it worse than we got it. It's like, for instance, my little brother is 12. He's a huge gamer. Like, he's a genius, but he's just a huge gamer and lives on his video game system. And when we go out to eat, he can't even order his own food. He has to, like, have somebody else talk to the waitress. And, like, his social skills are, like, not there. But it's not like he's smarter than I'll ever be, but he just can't, like, it's just, he grew up where you just talk through a headset on a video game system, and it's just, like, it's just crazy. It's a whole other world.
Well, kids,
and that wasn't even that long ago. He's like not even that younger. It's like 10 years difference.
Yeah, which isn't a huge deal. Yeah, I mean, the thing is too is that kids today know so much more than we do at like a young age. Like, I was a shithead at like 18. I didn't know crap. Like I thought I did, but like I didn't know much. And like you talk to a kid today who's like 16, 17, their amount of knowledge that they know is insane. But it goes to what's intelligence, because I think the one thing that comes with age is the fact that it's not about how much information you can just hold and regurgitate, but it's about knowing what information is important and what information, it's like, you can get somebody who's, it's like that old saying, you're street smart or book smart. Like a book smart person can regurgitate a bunch of facts, but a street smart person can know which ones are even important and how to, attach those that the quotes or books are important lessons to their lives and how that can help their lives and their outlook on life. So it's just it's really this thing where like kids, they seem smarter if you're talking to them for like a couple minutes, they seem smarter, but yet like the lack of experience or knowing what to do with that knowledge is I think where they're lacking, and it's gonna be a weird future to see where it all takes us, and it's like it goes through that theory, that simulation theory, and like they know for a fact that eventually we will have the ability to have a simulation of the world we live in today, where everything would be exactly the same. And now, how do we know we're not in that now? It's like that's the question. It's like
it's crazy.
It is, because it's like we live these lies where we're like stuck in this box and we think the whole world just kind of revolves around us. But when you look at the big picture and you look at like, dude, really we have such little understanding of the world. There's sounds that only a dog can hear, we can't hear. There's vibrations in the air, there's lights. It's just like our perception on reality is only based on our five senses, and who knows what else we're not seeing, so
yeah.
So it is fucking crazy. Yeah.
It's terrifying. It's exciting / terrifying. Like, I'm always excited. I'm like, man, I want something crazy to happen in my lifetime. But then I'm like, actually, no, I don't want that to happen. I'll wait till, like, I want to die when that happens.
Yeah, it is wild to think like what our kids are going to be, you know, playing with, or, you know, what they're going to be doing once once they're our age. Yeah. But hey, thanks, Levi. I really appreciate your time. I know you want to get to
anytime, man.
I know you want to get to your favorite bar soon.
Yeah.
But let my listeners know where they can get your music. Well, obviously they can get your music anywhere. You can get music, you know, iTunes, you know, Google Play, anywhere you want to get music. They're on tour right now. Are you guys doing Warped Tour this year?
I do not know yet.
Not yet. You don't know yet. But I know you guys are on tour now. People check out their website. You know, they're an awesome band to see live. They bring the energy every time I've seen them, and they're definitely worth the price of admission. So definitely check them out. And obviously they're really cool guys. So definitely check them out and support a cool artist. So thanks again, Levi. I really appreciate it. Good luck with everything in the future, and thanks for taking time for being with me.
Anytime, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Levi. Good luck on your show tonight.
Thanks, brother. I'll see you soon.
Hey, see ya.
Believe in the ripple effect.